Okay, got a really nice looking 12 scale car here from a company I've not heard of before called PXtoys. Here's a smart looking little piece of kit. I popped the body clips off, so let's get that out of the way. And then we're into the main event. Now this is coming in at £50 when I did the review, so I'm going to be looking at it at that price point. It's not going to be £300, I wish it was, and hopefully it'll be a lot better than a £20 car. So let me just run through all the bits and pieces. Basically it's all plastic, apart from the drives and everything, they're metal, and we've got oil-filled shocks, so it's got a nice little start of spec, certainly. We've got reasonable tyres on there, I would say. No foam or anything inside them, but they feel really grippy, so they should be good. We're looking at 245mm axle to axle, and we're looking at about a 40mm ground clearance there. And to help with the ground clearance, we've got this lovely sort of curved bumper at the front here to sort of deflection as we hit things, or bump into things, should I say. And then we've got the only metal plate on it basically sits there for protection. And then we've got a large flat sort of body plate there as well. So and tiny little, they call this a bumper at the back, but by the time it hits there I think everything else would have been hammered, to be perfectly honest, but we'll see, unless you're very accurate with where you're going to hit things. It actually feels quite nice, looks like it could be good fun. We've got a 540 brushed motor there, and it uses a 1500 milliamp hour 2-cell battery, and that connects on a T connector, and these are quite common at this level. These are really common. I've got several of these. There's two different branded ones there. They always come in blue, and they always have a sticker on them, so I think they probably all come out of the same factory, to be perfectly honest. For charging, you get a USB adapter to charge it with, and you charge it through the balanced charger port on the 2-cell there. I use power banks quite often because I'm usually nowhere near any power when I'm out playing. But you can plug this into a mains adapter. You could plug it into your computer, a laptop, or your car. When we plug it in, I just turn that on. You get a flashing green LED when it's charging. When it's fully charged, that goes solid. And the battery bay area's got a little bit more room in it, so it's a nice thing about cars compared to quads is you usually have a little bit of room, and it doesn't matter too much about the weight. So if you can get a slightly bigger battery in there, that will give you a longer run time. We've been looking at about, I would imagine, 15, 18, 20 minutes perhaps run time on it. Depends how much we draw from this motor itself. I'm not too sure. I don't think it'll be a particularly fast car by any means. And onto the transmitter, it's your normal sort of stock transmitter. We've got 3 AA batteries you need to power it up, and it doesn't come with them. Everything else it comes with, to be perfectly honest. You've got the throttle, so that makes it go forwards, and then center is stop, or push it into reverse. Basically the same as giving it brakes, and then obviously that will make it go backwards, and your steering is right and left here. I would say this was aimed at beginners, but it's got some really nice fail-safe things on it that I've just been having a little play with, and I thought they're really good. So you should turn the transmitter on first of all, then the car, but I'm just going to do this round the wrong way, so I'm going to plug the car in first of all. And then you've got your on-off switch there, and that's on, that's off, and as you hear that the servo hasn't kicked in, nothing's happened. If I push that on, we get very fast flashing LEDs until I actually turn the transmitter on, and then you can hear the servo's all kicked in and the LEDs have gone solid. If I turn this off, it instantly goes back to normal, so it cuts everything off. So I like that. I think that's a good sensible way to do it, to be perfectly honest. So normally you would turn on the transmitter first of all, get the flashing red LED, then turn on the car. You can see it's sort of got itself all going, and we're ready to go. A little bit of throttle, there we go, and then backwards as well. And like I say, turn it right, turn it left. On the you can reverse the controls, the steering and the throttle if you want to. I've never ever done that because I've always done it the way it comes. You've got steering rate here, which basically adjusts how far you can turn. Now I find this good with the grandkids. I don't let them turn too far, and then if I turn the steering rate up, you can see you turn an awful lot more, so you're much more likely to flip over, and it's much more challenging to drive actually, but you've got to have the control then. If you pull it right down, you get very little steering, as you can see there. But if you just want to bat it around really fast, it will basically never ever fall over with the reduced rate on it. So it's nice having that adjuster. You've got steering trim I'll do next, and that basically alters the straight line drive of the car. So usually it's sort of around centre area, and you can see, run the car back and forwards and you'll see that it actually stays on the line. If it's slightly off, like almost like having your tracking out really, so it's starting to pull over to one side, so you just need to correct it there. So that's your steering trim. And then this one actually has, they call it throttle trim, I would call it throttle rate to be honest. If I put it right down low and then give it full throttle, it's not really doing an awful lot. If I increase that up to sort of middle, and I'm just going to hold it, you can hear that's going a lot more, and then obviously up to full power. Again, I don't think this is going to go that fast, but again, with the grandkids, I leave that throttle right down low, so they can't go too fast, they can't steer too hard, and actually everyone stays happy and they don't go home to their parents complaining that granddad's injured them. So yeah, everything on this I thought was pretty good. So one other thing I thought was nice about it was if it's actually running, and I'm going to keep the throttle on full here, kill that, and it just stops. So that's nice as well. So if we lose signal, that'll have the same effect. It won't just keep running. The only other thing in the box is the instruction manual. It's A4 in size, and it's really nicely done actually. Nice big bold text, and it literally runs through everything. So you've got all your sizes there, the 3 different body shapes that you can get, what you're supposed to get in your pack, and then onto all the controls, which I basically run through everything just then. But it really does cover it all well. So if you're new to RC cars, that would actually get you started and get you going, no problem at all. Exploded body view with all the parts pulled out, and then even smaller scale down, and then literally every single individual body part numbered. It's really nicely done. Okay, so we've got the big thaw going on. So we've sort of got ice, as you can see, solid ice there, and then there's like slippy stuff, and then we've got broken bits with gravel, and then we've got thick snow as well. So I'm just going to see how this little thing goes. Being 4-wheel drive, it should be okay. That's in low rates obviously. Whoa! This snow is vicious on cars. So that's throttle right off. So that's how you sort of start the kids and everything, or if you want some slow stuff, well, that's it. Flat out, and then you can just increase it as you like. So it's not quite half, so let's just go up to half there. Wait, that's nice. Oh, it's actually coping pretty well. This ice and snow is not good for RC cars. Well, that's doing alright actually. So that's half power. I'm going to pop it up to full now. Ah, that's a bit different. You can see it still holds, being 4x4, it sort of holds a lot better. Whee, nice. A lot better than 2-wheel drive. Oh yeah, it's got some real grip as well. Right, that's quite smart. Whoa! There we go, so you can see, whoa, you can do drifts with it. Mind you, on ice it's not very difficult to get drift. It holds really well. God, it really is nice. Doesn't feel that powerful actually. I don't think it's a very fast car. That's full speed. Certainly not fast. Yeah, that's flat out. Whoa, oh yeah, nice. Whoops, hey, actually it copes really well. Saying it's not that fast, what it does is pretty good. Whoa. That's a nasty bit there, go. Always better throttle off there, if I can remember it's there. There we go. God, it seems to get out of anything as well. Not a lot stops it. Suspension's not bad on it actually. Whoa. Nice. This thing goes pretty well. Whoa, yeah, it's very good. Whoa, that's the that's a horrible bit there. What you got to do is just throttle off before you hit the bottom, and then it gives it enough chance to get those wheels just into there, and then you can get out like that. If you do it the way I just did it, you just body slam it in there. So throttle off, that's it, and back up. That is good. Whoa. Whee, that's the first time I've had it over. Actually takes a bit of getting over, to be perfectly honest. Nice and controllable as well. So even on with the throttle at full rates, you can still go around really nice and slowly. So. And the steering trim as well, on rate, sorry. I'm going to pop that right round. So now I've got full rates on the steering, so it's going to drift. There we go. Even that's not too bad. Very controllable. And we're testing out, what, 4 different surfaces here, I think. Go on, if we go up onto the drive again, we'll have ice as well. There we go. Ice, slush, snow, gravel, leaves, snow, rough terrain. That's nice. Oh, this is drying the drive off quite nicely. Yeah, love it. It's one of those times you don't mind getting covered in muck. Yeah, it still gets itself out. Nice. Yeah, it's working really well. You can see the ice building up on the tyres now in the snow. Whoa, yeah, lovely slide. God, it'd be nice if you're actually driving, you know, a full-size one of these would be cool and this stuff. Range, I don't know. I never really bother that much about range. On quads or these, to be honest. That's got to be about 80 metres, I would have thought. We're coming in at full race. Nice. Oh, loving the drift on it. Perfect. Oh, these conditions are lovely. Unfortunately, it's probably all going to be gone tomorrow. We'll either have another downpour of snow, or or it'll just have melted. And this is the steering rates up as high as I can on the dual rate, so it's still very controllable. Nice proportion on this. Oh yeah, there's ice. I don't know if you can see that. We've got ice build up on the and snow and slush and everything, all inside it. This is really not a good thing to run your RC cars on. Well, it's where I live, so I'm not going to stop driving cars in winter. I'd never get any blinking driving done. I'd never be allowed out of the house. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just, I think it's just that switch. So I might spray a little bit of sort of damp proofing in there or something, or other waterproofing. Nice. This thing copes real well. And again, if you've got the kids playing with it and you want it a little bit slower, you can turn the throttle rate down, but you can also turn the steering rate down. So, like I showed you before, so if I go full over, that's all it's going to do. So it's not going to turn that quickly, which means they don't usually get in too much trouble. So that's full steering rates on the lowest one. Now if I crank that right the way up, there we go, a lot of difference. and actually good fun to practice with. But yeah, I think the battery's actually finally gone, to be honest. But that's had a really good run. And like I say, well, look at that in there. I mean, that is just absolutely coast. So this will go in the airing cupboard of shame, which basically will dry out completely. And to be honest, all the cars, all the quads I've had go in water and everything, every time I've done that, let it dry completely, never had a problem with it. Loving this. Oh, there we go. I'm thinking it's probably the battery's gone, not just my slush. Yeah, that switch, I'm definitely going to do something with that. They usually come with a little protective cover over them, but at this level, it hasn't. So. It is amazing how it's getting through all that. This is just sheet ice here, as you can see with her spinning, but if I slow the throttle right off, we can get quite a bit of grip with it. If you nail it, it's just going to spin out all over the place. Okay, so how does the car look after it's done probably about 8 to 10 batteries around my garden and getting bashed to bits? It looks like a brand new car, to be perfectly honest. Everything on it looks good. If I just put some tyre black on this, honestly, you can flog it as new, I think. Even the roof's got hardly any scratches on it at all, and it's quite difficult to get flipped over, actually. It's quite, the suspension's worked pretty well on it. Let's get that out of the way and have a look through it. The only issue I had with the whole thing was at the beginning, first battery through, I got water getting into here. How did water get in there? Snow and ice packed all round here as it's thrown up off the tyres, and it obviously started to melt with the heat off the motor and the ESCs, and then obviously the water's only going to go in one direction, straight down into this switch here. That's why I kept blowing it, taking it off, and it was fine for another few minutes. After I finished the first run, I literally just brought it in, used the air gun all over it, blew all the moisture out, dropped some, I used GT85, which is sort of like, it's got a bit of silicone in it, I think, like WD-40, but I always find it a little bit better for these sort of things. Sprayed it around carefully, make sure you don't get it on your tyres, it can ruin them, but into the switch, and I've never had a problem with the switch since, and it's been running through water, snow and ice, so that was the only issue there. They give it as being waterproofed, I think. I don't see any real waterproofing on it at all, but that's quite normal with the cars. They say they're waterproofed, but just check, you can usually tell they're not. So after a good clean up, she's been absolutely fine, and then I never had an issue with the switch at all. The suspension's been really good, and I'll show you how good that's been, because I've bashed this around, run it over all the different surfaces. We've just got some scratches on the front there, obviously where it's caught a few curbs and things and bounced up, and the stone, sorry, is more, my curbs are here are just stone. Skidded past there and everything is missed. We haven't got any scratches down here or even on this plate, so the suspension and the tyres have done a really good job, and it's performed really well. It's not a fast car, we can't, you know, it's not going to pull a wheelie or anything like that, but it was never aimed at doing that anyway with this size motor in this setup, certainly. But what it does do is grip well, and it's lovely to drive. It's just a pleasure. It was really enjoyable. The transmitter itself was really good, and the controls are nice. Having the adjusters as well on it was very good. The dual rate, so that works pretty good. And I was getting I got nearly 100 meters on it. I did pace it back out afterwards, so I would say it does 100 meters without any problems at all. Runtime they give us 20 minutes. I didn't get anywhere near 20 minutes. I got just about half that. 10 to 12 minutes was my sort of average run time, and that it's no real issue because you can get loads of spare batteries for this, and also you've got to constantly charge them up anyway. But they do give 20 minutes. So I don't see any way that this is going to do that. It is really cold in the Highlands, obviously, in January, so that might affect it, and also the snow and ice around everything. That's going to take a bit of time off as well. But all in all, I really like it. I've got the granddaughter over at the weekend, so she'll be having a to go with it. I think she will love this. Whether you spend your hard-earned cash on it, I don't know. I can't spend your cash for you. I've really enjoyed you coming along on this drive, and I'll probably see you on the next drive or flight we do.